think this is esports? You think esports? This is FTC!
Hey yo! It's Combo Breaker, yeah!
Oh, there's a 2-0 right there! And Flowerman deservedly popping off as they make top 8 winner side!
Can you get out?
Oh, the save check! Super good from guard user. DaFeetLee has made top 8 over Diaphone just barely by a hair's breadth.
Welcome back to Combo Breaker 2020, Day 3, Top 8 of Granblue Fantasy Versus. I'm Maverick, joined by Virum, and Virum, we have had quite the journey to get to this point. Let's take a look at the bracket to see who we have coming up to battle it out for the #1 spot.
Yes, that we have almost 200 entrants here at Combo Breaker 2022 for Granblue Fantasy Versus, and now we are down to the final 8. Of course, on the winner's side of the bracket, we have Shuaboo versus Buscar Luz and Flowerman versus ZomBmu. Definitely 4 titans here in the US. And on loser's side, we have Jukem versus Guard User and DaFeetLee versus Neokarsh.
Virum, I have watched Granblue all weekend. Some of the best play I've ever seen in my life has happened right here at Combo Breaker, but you got to get the job done if you're in this top 8 spot. You're looking at #1 and saying, this is my path to make my mark not only in this tournament, but in the history of this game.
Absolutely. Of course, you know, this is one of the biggest offline events that we've had to date. There's just been so much excitement, so much energy in the venue, and now it's all coming down to this. Our first 2 players, of course, Shuaboo and Buscar Luz. Shuaboo, probably the best Seahawks here in the US right now. There have been quite a few here in this bracket, but Shuaboo standing on top right now. Meanwhile, of course, Buscar Luz, best Lane probably in the world. I've yet to see a Lane of his caliber, and he has continued to get incredibly consistent results. But here we go. Game 1 almost underway.
Top 8 Granblue Fantasy Versus action begins right now. No intros, straight to business.
All right, despite the fact that we have 2 Catboys on the screen, this is most likely going to be quite the game of cat and mouse. Can Shuaboo kind of corner Buscar Luz and keep him pinned down, or will Buscar Luz be able to set up his offense? Right now, Buscar Luz off to a really good start, having Shuaboo in the corner.
Calling out the homies, the dive kick cleaves through them, air fireball parry, nothing doing. Shuaboo goes for the overhead, gives up the turn, late tech. Buscar Luz is back on the assault, has HPA available, activates it immediately. Catalina bot is down, you have to respect the missiles. Guess for game, the dodging from Shuaboo on point so far, but eventually you will get clipped, and Buscar taking first blood.
Yep, that was really, really good defense coming out from Shuaboo right there, but in the end, it kind of crumbled in the face of that HPA. Really hard situation to come back from. Now Shuaboo off with the opening gambit.
Shuaboo quickly pushing Buscar into the corner. This is the type of game that you want to have against Lane. You do not want to allow Buscar especially to set up that mid-screen offense and put you into terrible scenarios with the assist and Catalina bot.
Yeah, but Shuaboo just maintaining this offense, keeping Buscar Luz pinned in the corner, generating those plus frames, of course, goes for the grab, finally introducing that into his offense.
So important to early open your opponent up with the throw. Buscar, though, finding a way out of the corner, went for a parry, nothing doing. Slashing through is Shuaboo, has Buscar at the corner, cashing out absolutely.
Yes.
And this should finish it. Buscar, Shuaboo, tying things up 1 round apiece in this very important first game.
Yeah, very, very nice from Shuaboo right there, just kind of waiting and reacting for Buscar Luz to go for an option and then just stuffing it out with that execution, the wrecker.
Air fireball parries through but gets punished. Shuaboo making sure that Buscar knows you cannot just easily get past my offensive setups.
Yeah, and these staggers combined with the throw pressure, this character having one of the best strike throw games in the game thanks to his incredible mobility and the threat of so many other offensive options. Plus frames on the 5U, the throw once again. time, once again, applying that pressure with the staggers.
Just checking the guard of Buscar, daring him to press a button to get a counter hit. Shuaboo looking for the final bit. Buscar has a little bit of room to work. Gets a little meal in the belly.
Yeah, unfortunately, doesn't build meter there. You know, Buscar Luz really wanting to get some meter. There's the opening of the cross-up, and a very clean third round of this first game going to Shuaboo.
Shuaboo losing round one, you know, in a fashion that may have been just getting warmed up. You know, it's the beginning of the day. You have to go up against Buscar, who's a very tricky player, but quickly doing what Six does best, getting in your business and not leaving.
Yeah. And I think, honestly, the round start is so important for both of these players. Getting that initial momentum, getting that corner control, incredibly paramount in order to get your offense started. Wait out the parry, but not able to punish.
EX fireball overhead, wide open!
La Malady cracking him open like an egg, and that's going to be a big chunk of corner damage. Resets with the empty hand and gets the throw.
Buscar's in a lot of trouble, but the 2L going to get them out of the city. Shuaboo showing the better parry between the two characters. A back throw. Buscar still has the opportunity, and Super Skybound out is available. You can call on the assistant of Mother Yggdrasil when needed.
Yeah, you can tell that she's going to be coming soon. Buscar Luz in a precarious position. Does he really want to risk it? No, he just presses a button and hit. Oh, he doesn't get it. He doesn't get a follow-up afterwards, but Yggdrasil coming out nonetheless. This should be a checkmate situation unless Shuaboo's defense is completely immaculate.
Shuaboo has to see beyond the beyond to be able to get through this assault from Yggdrasil, holding on to dear life, but the chip damage was too much.
Yeah, that was, again, it's very clear that Shuaboo is very practiced defensively versus both the HPA and Iggy, but unfortunately in those situations where you have so little health to work with, it's very tough.
Oh, EX Rekka straight from the beginning. Shuaboo putting Buscar right into that left side corner. Air fireball for the meaty setup. And the counter cleaning through the whole crew.
I love the usage of the light thunder flash right there just to deter Loane from going for the boys right now. Counter hit on the Rekka follow-up kick. And that's going to be a big combo in the corner. Not probably going to be enough with SBA. Heavily scaled. But one more hit should do it.
Guess for game type of situation. Now Buscar can look to try to get the turnaround light after the teleport shadow. Buscar not fooled whatsoever. The homies come out and Buscar has an opportunity here.
This is a huge opportunity for Buscar Luz. Gets a throw versus the Thunder Flash, and now he's got Shuaboo cornered.
Sometimes you're too smart for your own good, Viram, and that might be Shuaboo's end if he does not figure out a way out of the setup, and it gets taken out. Buscar surviving out of nowhere.
What an incredible comeback from Buscar Luz, all snowballing from that first wake-up match. You know, he had really nothing to lose there after the 5U from Shuaboo, and it just really rolled from there. Didn't even need Iggy to close that game.
Did not, and you know, earlier Shuaboo did go for a meaty universal overhead. That might have been a button to check something like that, but Buscar, you know, fortune favors the bold.
That it does. Again, an excellent throw, calling out the Thunder Flash.
Back to a pivotal game 3. Wake up buttons from Buscar. Gets the punish. Catalina bot comes in. Late tech. Shuaboo not able to take a turn. Great punish on the whiff throw.
Excellent stuff. Shuaboo still fighting. Great 2H coming out from Buscar Luz once again, just demonstrating his absolute mastery with this character.
HPA range has been activated. Shuaboo may not be able to survive if Buscar decides to use it.
Good tech on the throw. Again, good these late techs. Really nice with Buscar Luz, again keeping him in range. But yes, again, busting out the Iggy when he's at basically death point. Can't afford to block pretty much at all.
Yeah, such a tough scenario, as you said earlier, almost a checkmate scenario. And now, all of a sudden, when it looked like Shuaboo had it in his hands, Buscar is the one on set point.
That he is, and remember folks at home, it is all first to 2 up until top 3, so only our winners, losers, and grand finals are best of 5.
Shuaboo late teching a couple of times, awesome sauce into the corner. The side switch, such good stuff from Shuaboo. Ends it early to continue the pressure. Counter puts Buscar back down to the ground.
Excellent use of the parry from Wayne right there to relieve that pressure. Gets opened up by the cat missiles.
Here it comes, homies coming in. Shuaboo holding firm at the moment, but still stuck. You see every now and then Buscar running back to give room, allowing Shuaboo to decide to if they want to make a mistake or not, but finally Shuaboo out of the corner.
All right, this time finally the defensive Yggdrasil coming out from Buscar Luz. really wants to seal this set now, but we've seen that Shuaboo, now that he has health to work with, he can more than happily just kind of block a lot of this out, taking a lot of chip, but still alive and in the game with his own SSBA, but gets clipped by the cat missiles! And that will be the set to Buscar Luz 2-1 over Shuaboo.
You know, I was going to say that using the Yggdrasil there early might have been troublesome for Buscar because normally it's in that checkmate chip death situation. But the key part about that interaction with Yggdrasil is that the rocks at the end prevented Shuaboo from closing the distance at the end of Yggdrasil.
Yes.
And that is what allowed Buscar to have that time to set up that interaction on the jump in.
Yeah, very nice. Even though it wasn't necessarily there to get the KO, it gave Buscar Luz plenty of space, plenty of room to work with. As you said, the rocks pushed Shuaboo all the way across the screen, and at that distance, very few characters can really get the punish on the Wayne right there unless they preemptively commit to running forward. But again, once again, good stuff to Buscar Luz. He will be your first winners finals combatant here in Granblue Fantasy versus Top 8.
Absolutely, and what a treat for, you know, being able to get into winners finals in this game. 3 out of 5 now for Buscar, all the way, rest of the way through the tournament. So that is a sigh of relief, especially in a game like Granblue, where you say, okay, now I have an extra game, and the layers that we'll see later on will start to come into play in the longer set. But we have a heck of a match coming up next. Flowerman from the Midwest. I will try my best not to be biased, but I reserve the right to be, against arguably the best player in the United States, ZomBmu. They're going to do a quick little button check, but this matchup is powerhouse against powerhouse. Yeah,
very interesting matchup. Ferry versus Cagliostro, you know, very dynamic in the way that the ranges are played. Obviously, Cagliostro loves to play at that full screen range, set up the traps, charge up the 5U collapse rock. Meanwhile, of course, Ferry, incredibly long normals, the longest normals in the game, just able to kind of scout out at that range, poke away. But I think the thing that really differentiates Flowerman's Ferry is just how technical it is. They're so adept with this character. It's very clear that they have many hours of practice and lab time, clearly discussed with other Ferry players across the world as well.
Yes, Flowerman known for not only their technical acumen at any fighting game that they play, but also the patience that's come after those hours and hours of training and preparation. Flowerman is one of the most patient players I've seen play the ranged game. And on the other side, ZomBmu definitely has moments of patience, but ZomBmu, the way that they play, they love to force their opponent to make a mistake, to say, I'm tired of waiting, I'm going to go in, I'm going to try to force the situation to change, because ZomBmu's very good at annoying the opponent into just error after error.
Yeah, Zombie really likes to use a combination of those Mayhem 236 runes as well as the EX teleport to condition certain options, offensive and defensive options, out the opponent.
Here we go. Flowerman, ZomBmu, the other side of winners semis. The crowd is ready for Flowerman. I can hear them, and here we go.
All right, once again, we are starting off with a quick button check. crowd getting incredibly excited, as they should be.
So important at this stage to make sure all your buttons are mapped.
Yep.
You want to, you know, make sure that no surprises here. It also helps calm the nerves a little bit too, right? Because you get, you know, okay, I'm moving my character a little bit, these moves, you just kind of get familiar with everything.
Definitely.
And then when you're ready to go, we can get into it. And now this time, for real, Virum, we will begin the other side of winner semis. Ferry versus Cagliostro, Flowerman versus ZomBmu. Choosing to say space, a good choice. See the song that they're selecting.
Celestial View.
Another sky, okay.
Yep. Very nice.
Some choice decisions here.
Ferry versus Cagliostro.
Round start going to be so important in this one.
Yes.
Just establishing the first knockdown for either one of these characters is just part of the win condition game plan.
Yeah, very notorious for having a very strong round start, of course, able to immediately threaten at that range with both the far medium, the far heavy. I think 2M as well also reaches that round start range, so you kind of have to work around those and then go from there. This time. Both these players letting their intros rock.
I love it. Such a beautiful game. And what other proper way to introduce your character to the world than in a top 8, letting the intros go all the way through. And now we're about to get down to business. The expected slow start here. Flowerman setting up, just checking what ZomBmu wants to do, how ZomBmu wants to approach the range where they can begin to set up some of the hazards. DP blocked, and there's the air runes.
Yeah.
Good jump block from Flowerman, getting rid of them early.
I really like that from Flowerman already, but notice that ever so slowly, Zombie has pushed Flowerman to the corner, manages to fight their way out though.
The slide through, Flowerman stepping back, avoiding the air runes once again, guarding, but shoved ever more into that corner. The teleport in though, ZomBmu striking the first big knockdown and confirm.
Yeah, I love that from ZomBmu, walking back to kind of coax Flowerman into trying to press one of those long range buttons and using the teleport to aggressively force his way in.
EX lands, getting a hard knockdown on the Flowerman, but pushed back into the corner.
Oh, huge hit right there. That should be the round for Zombie. Very nice confirm into the FBA.
And it's so important for ZomBmu to win that way, to show Flowerman, I'm comfortable at winning at your pace.
Yes.
Battle 2, engage.
I like that round start option from Zombie, going for the sweep to try to call out Flowerman, going for something like a 2M at the round start.
Flowerman answering back, trying to push ZomBmu away. This time the air-to-air goes to ZomBmu, teleports into the corner, gets a bit of a hit and a big jump in. Flowerman going to be knocked down into the corner. This could be rough.
Yep, goes for the trap setup, of course, 236H. There's the pressure once again coming out from ZomBmu.
Flowerman hasn't really had an opportunity to get anything going. Super Skybound aren't available, but look at the life lead on ZomBmu. Launch into the air and the finish. ZomBmu quickly accelerating to 1-0.
And Zombie just has been for a very long time such a dominant player throughout the US scene, incredibly adaptive of his opponent's strategies, works incredibly well around their pace, and just prevents them from really playing the game that they want to.
Flowerman taking time. I absolutely love this. Take the time that you have to in between games, collect, think about it, and then approach. Granblue, such a cerebral game that it really does help to take a moment to see where you made an error and then come back.
That it does. Oh, inches off of that 2H anti-air.
So close. Flowerman again been stuck in this left side the entire match, and ZomBmu putting him right back to where the rent's getting paid.
All right, great sweep coming out from Flowerman. Finally gets the chance to start their own offense for a little bit. A good blocks from Zombie.
2H to get rid of the air runes. Flowerman full screen situation here. ZomBmu happy to chill out, coax Flowerman into moving forward. There's the charge 5U.
Oh, I love that, using GG to get rid of those air 236H.
And that's what they're going to have to do. Flowerman, almost had the teleport there, but was able to guard it up. Again, back to full screen. Lance connects, and now ZomBmu's in.
Yep, already the counterplay you see from ZomBmu, just not allowing Flowerman to freely throw out GG at that spacing.
Flowerman desperately needing a knockdown here. The Sky Runes, though. Flowerman backing up, tried to go for EX Whip, but nothing doing, and now ZomBmu hammering away at Flowerman's guard.
Yep, and that opening with the crouching light is going to be the one ZomBmu needs to take the round. One round away from set point is ZomBmu. Flowerman just not able to really play that range that they're so used to with Ferry. Ferry usually a character that's able to kind of force the opponent to play her game, you know, able to press the buttons that she wants, but ZomBmu just not allowing that at all.
Absolute denial right now from ZomBmu. Flowerman hasn't even really gotten a hard knockdown to set up GG and do all the tricks that we're used to Ferry seeing. ZomBmu's been really good at just avoiding those scenarios. The Lance again winning in the long range scenario. Now Flowerman pushed back into that left side.
Yep, and again the light confirms, catching Flowerman, trying to press a button. There's a follow-up, charging the rock as well. Safe jab versus the Beppo, and now that's going to be the round. An incredibly clean clinical finish from ZomBmu.
Yeah, that was pretty methodical from ZomBmu. I mean, all the things that we're typically used to seeing Fairy do, ZomBmu avoided completely. And then the key part of that is winning those full screen interactions with the Lance. The Lance knocks you down, hard knockdown, and you saw every time that happened, ZomBmu dashed all the way across the screen, set up traps, and then started to pester pester Flowerman with the lights.
Yes. Getting those big hard knockdowns with the 6-2-3 each, the calculated spear, was so crucial for starting Zombie's offense. You know, as we mentioned before, he'd do such a good job of coaxing Flowerman into feeling comfortable at certain ranges and then immediately disrupt that in order to start his own offense.
Yeah, it was just a complete performance from ZomBmu. I can, you know, oftentimes you get to a certain match and you envision it the night before or the morning before and say, this is how I want to play this matchup. Yeah. I can imagine that ZomBmu pretty much did everything that they thought they were going to do against Flowerman.
Indeed, indeed. Coming up next, though, we have Jukem versus Guard User, Lancelot versus Zoe, though probably not the Lancelot and Zoe I think a lot of people were expecting at this point. I imagine a lot of people would have probably expected to see Diaphone versus Tager, or Diaphone and Tager at this point, but you know, Jukem actually the one to defeat Tager in losers, make it all the way here to top 8 in the Lance Mirror. Meanwhile, Guard User taking out Kane in order to get here. Incredible Percival player here from the Midwest. Yeah.
One of those amazing things about gathering so many strong players is you look at the bracket at the beginning and you have your picks to say, okay, this is definitely top 8, this person is definitely top 8. But at the end of the day, you can be shocked and surprised and pleasantly surprised to see upsets and new faces to the top 8 space appear.
Yes. And
Jukem and Guard User both very prolific Granblue Fantasy Versus players, but you know, may not have been the picks for people to assume that they were going to get to top 8, but here they are, and every bit of this counts because, as you said, this is loser side.
Yes, absolutely. You are fighting for your bracket life here in losers quarters. You know, of course, 7th place, a very respectable showing, but when you get this far, you just want to push it all the way.
Especially trying to get to that 3 out of 5 territory, right? In the loser side, you have a longer run. You got to get to losers finals to get to that somewhat safety area of 3 out of 5. So this is going to be really important for not only this match, but how the rest of the mental stack goes for whoever wins this one. You know, how much did you expend at the beginning of losers to be able to make your run through the rest of top 8? Because you look at the losers quarters, Shuaboo and Flowerman are down there. Not easy matches to go through.
Not at all. Definitely not opponents that you want to be fighting this early in the top 8. Of course, our players getting ready on the character select screen. And once again, Lancelot versus Zoe. This here, Combo Breaker 2022. It has been an absolutely superb tournament so far. If you want to see the rest of the schedule for the event, make sure to check out combobreaker.org or Ace of Spades on Twitter. Shout outs, of course, once again to all of our production crew. Of course, our stream host, BG Callisto, doing an absolutely incredible job this weekend.
A hero for not only the streaming community, but the Granblue communities too. Midwest, you know, is built off the backs of what Callisto does. So much love to Callisto and the crew for, you know, getting us this far. And you know what? We are still going to be going through. So if you've been enjoying top 8, make sure you tweet it out. Let people know what's going on. Twitch.tv/BG Callisto Combo Breaker 2022 Granblue Fantasy versus top 8 action will continue. We might get a little bit of a button check here, but as you said before, Lancelot and Zoe, you know, 2 real characters that kind of want to do different things, right? Zoe wants to enforce that neutral space to make sure that she can get a knockdown and then set up the dragon shenanigans, right? Am I going to go for laser? Am I going to force you into the 3-way gas? Am I going to try to, you know, sky helicopter in to keep you off guard? And Lancelot, I mean, you know, since the beginning of the game, has just been a menace on the inside. Once he gets in, you've got to guess left, right. If you're at the wall, you have to guess high, low. It can be a really hard scenario. So it's going to be up to Guard User to be able to keep that momentum on their side.
Absolutely. Not only that, but it's going to be absolutely paramount for Guard User to be on top of their defense if they ever do get cornered. You know, Zoe not having the best reversal, or not having any real reversal tool outside of Skybound Art, has to play that defense very honestly.
All right, this does not look like a button check at all. We're getting straight into it. Jukem already on the inside. Guard User fighting back with a 2 light. That was a bold decision.
Yeah, very nice. Just great to introduce that early, just showing that they're willing to go for that proactive defense.
Charge Thunder gets the hit. Full conversion here with the EX helicopter. Dragon laser set up. Strike throw. It was throw, but the late tech from Jukem puts him in the corner, and the Unique gets the knockdown.
All right, good 228 to get out of that pressure. Finally, Jukem gets something started here. Goes for the simple close heavy into SSBA. That's going to be a good chunk of damage, as well as Oki for Jukem.
Putting guard user on ice temporarily. The side switch, no, not being fooled though. Guard user out of the danger zone. Didn't confirm. Air Thunder whiffs. This could be trouble. Not necessarily dead, but guard user's going to have to guess for game. EX Fireball.
Oh, that was such a good jump light right there just to intercept that airspace. Guard user definitely not ready for that one, and what a comeback by Jukem.
This can be really difficult for guard user. Just have to keep that mental stack together. Round start slide. Jukem's feeling themselves.
And I love the usage of the 5U just to push guard user into the corner as quickly as possible. And now the offense, the relentlessness from Jukem begins.
EX Thunder going to push Jukem into the corner. The teleport. Oh, right back at you.
That was such good use of the aerial spinning slash right there. It does have invul, just not on the frame one, and able to get past the turbulence smash attack.
Oh. There's the jump Unique, pushing Jukem back into that corner. Such a smart option. The overhead connects as well. And now guard user with a full conversion. Oki with the Thunder. That's going to be protectable. Yeah, use the light early.
Get great anti-air coming out from guard user. Missing the throw there, but gets the opening with the light nonetheless. And that's going to be the round to guard user.
That is the type of round that you want to see if you're a guard user fan, of coming right back and saying, I almost had that one. Never mind it. I'll forget about it. I'll get this one.
All right, so in that situation, the 2-2L, Zoe is always minus, so it is technically the opponent's turn. No need to go for a reversal there. There's the 236M, huge damage in the corner. Gets the setup into the Thunder, but a good throw from Jukem.
That was a great decision from Jukem. Gets a tick throw. Guard user still stuck in the corner. Meaty thrust and another one just to make sure you're not asleep at the wheel. The juke back maybe thought the tech was coming, but the air helicopter again protecting the skies.
Right, pushing all the way back. Oh, what a neutral jump to bait out the throw. We saw Jukem more than happy to go for that defensive throw. It worked earlier, but quickly and swiftly, guard user was able to adapt 1-0.
That was such a good dash up jump from guard user. You know, everyone's used to just, I mean, the throws happen so quickly in this game. Dash up throw is a really good option. The fact that guard user was able to pull that off, really good signs. However, Jukem answering back very quickly. Guard user in the corner.
Oh, nice fuzzy mash just to call out that empty jump attempt. And the big close heavy, not going to get a full on afterwards. The dragon was already there.
Laser coming again, tech on the throw. Jukem correct on that one. Off the wall, attempt the thrust through to safety, guarded up the 2M.
Now that was an early tech. I'm wondering if guard user might, in that same situation, add overhead into their offense to call that out hard. Lovely use the aerial spinning slash again to anti-air.
Such a good answer to typically a fail-safe escape plan, but the off-the-wall crossover, guard user going to take a lot of damage off of this one. Jukem going to be able to establish some Oki pressure as well.
Big opening, and this time instead Jukem gets the overhead.
Oh my goodness, the light just connected. Wasn't a conversion off of it, but afterwards, you know, typically even if you get the light tap, a throw can happen, and Jukem knew that, went for the overhead for the finish.
Yep. And of course, Jukem had introduced that tick throw a few times in previous rounds as well. Great conditioning from them. And now the laser setup, not going to be able to convert from that range.
Oh, neutral jump again. Guard user, remember this.
And honestly, just from both players right now, this is such exceptionally high-level gameplay. Big, far, heavy, not going to get the KO with the overhead just yet.
Oh, guard user only needs a dab. Just a dab will do, and the dragon will finish it for Zoe. Guard user on set point.
One round away, but of course we cannot count Jukem out just yet. We've seen that he's more than capable of fighting in this set.
Jukem taking advantage of the fireball, dashing in behind it, closing it to a mid-range game. The dragon comes out, laser from the cross side, but made Zoe block. Very important. Jukem avoiding any kind of dragon shenanigans.
Yep, goes for the single high into the throw. Overhead again, this time not going to be a counter hit. And here comes the Wrecker Pressure. Lovely stuff once again from Jukem.
Oh, waited for the reset to get the throw. Jukem in full control right now. Jump out, the teleport. Good blocks from guard user, but low on life.
What a cool out on that 2M with the SBA. Not sure if that's going to be enough. That is a lower damage SBA, yep.
Last chance for the dance for guard user, fighting out with the lights. Not a full confirm into a knockdown. Jukem, plenty of life to gamble. Going the safe route, still gets clipped up. Super Skybound is available for guard user, but when do you use it?
The guard using fighting their way back little bit by bit. Jukem knows that he can't afford to rush, he can't afford to be too hasty, doesn't want to give up this round. He needs this, and he gets it with the EX Southern Cross.
Very good timing from Jukem to wait for the Dragon to come out, thrusting through before the hitbox is active. And now guard user all of a sudden facing a scenario where you're going into game 3 tied up, and Jukem has to be feeling good about being able to survive a set point and put a number on the board for themselves. All right, the pivotal game 3. Only one of these players will continue in top 8. Laser setup.
A little bit off on the timing on that throw right there. Again, that is not plus. Oh, what a conversion right there with the JU. That's a huge damage combo into the lightning. Doesn't actually hold it.
Oh, but this time the teleport wins out against the helicopter. Guard user a little late on the answer, and Jukem taking full advantage.
Oh, lovely run up to bait the SBA and gonna get a nice chunk of damage. Close heavy into Skybound Art from Lancelot, and now Jukem just needs one solid hit now that he has guard user cornered. A jump out from guard user.
Oh, EX Rekkas. Jukem holding firm, goes for the slide to jump over. Here's a throw. Guard user not out of this at all. Doesn't have Dragon Meter though, so has to do this the very hard way. Air Thunder blocked. Jukem closing the range, but eventually will get intercepted as guard user by the 5H.
Yeah, superb anti-air right there. And now this time Jukem 1 round away from moving on in the loser side of top 8.
Jukem all of a sudden looking at a road, a light at the end of the tunnel to be able to continue on when it was looking dire.
But now he is in the corner, getting comboed by Zoe. Guard user still having a decent chunk of Dragon Meter left. Now it should be expected. The counter overhead!
The register was wide open, Virum, and guard user says, I will take all of the money inside of it. We're going to last game, last round.
Not yet, we're not. La Maladie, not quite enough to close the round, but this is really, really tough. And the range of that universal overhead unmatched. Final game, final round here in losers quarters.
Dragon comes out. Such an important thing to get a good start. Second hit of the record hits. Oh, great check from guard user.
Oh, the side switch from guard user. Very, very nice. Here comes the Dragon once again. Goes for the jump. This time, Jukem a lot more ready for that.
Dragon laser comes out, but Jukem out of there. The slide gets the hard knockdown for the EX Fireball. The low opens up guard user. Jukem has Skybound Art, but will likely hold on to it. The full combo limit applied.
Yep, such a good time to go for that empty low. Hasn't introduced that at all. It's impossible to really fuzzy block all of Lancelot's offensive options in that safe jump scenario.
Laser comes out. The full extension of the Thunder keeps Jukem into that corner.
He gets clipped by the overhead, but it doesn't reach. The SBA doesn't reach.
Oh no, guard user's SBA did not reach. It typically goes a long range, but the jump in will do it, and guard user holding on to survive in an incredible gauntlet.
That was a scary final round situation for both players. Unfortunate for Jukem, not recognizing that that SBA didn't hit, and so not able to get the punish. The close heavy into the Super Skybound Art probably would have done it for him, but alas, an incredibly strong performance throughout this entire weekend from Jukem. He'll be bowing out at 7th place.
Yeah, great performance from Jukem, but you know, even better performance from guard user. The ability to recover after what, you know, is typically a basic confirm for you. Okay, I got the hit. I'm going to use my Skybound Art. I'm going to, you know, get plenty of damage, if not the kill, and it whiffs. But the composure there.
Yes.
The composure from guard user to say, okay, never mind that. I'm going to forget about it and go for another setup. Finally gets the jump in with the light and the conversion. Incredible stuff.
Yeah, beautifully, beautifully played from both players. Now, of course, we will be prepping for our other losers top 8, losers 8 set between DaFeetLee and Neokarsh. Neokarsh, you know, formerly known as a very, very dedicated Catalina player, has been going Jita for the majority, if not all, of this bracket so far.
Yeah, and DaFeetLee on the 6. You know, it's a question of what Neokarsh wants to do. Do you want to try to use Jita in the charge fireball scenario to stop some of 6's movement? You know, try to stifle some of that just liberal movement options that 6 has, or do you want to go for something like Catalina to try to maybe whiff punish a backdash or things like that that DaFeetLee likes to use to try to catch the opponent reaching and then whiff punish him?
Yeah. I'd also like to make note of the fact that DaFeetLee has made an incredible losers run so far. He lost relatively early in the first stage of pools, and since then has made a 7-set losers run, beating even Diaphone to make it all the way here to top 8.
That is an incredible run, and stories like that throughout tournament brackets are just one of the reasons why I love to follow players who are so dedicated to their games. But on top of that, Viram, that is a lot of Granblue to play. So
yes.
You've got to wonder how much is in DaFeetLee's tank for the rest of the way through the top 8.
Well, hopefully, of course, hopefully he's had a good night's sleep, nice breakfast, to make sure that he's revitalized for the new day, for the top 8s.
We're going to find out. Likely might get a button check here. They might get straight down to it, but it looks like it's going to be the Jita. There's the fist bump, so I think we're going to get straight into it. And Jita selected for the 6, and so Neokarsh versus DaFeetLee, our last losers 8 of the morning. We'll see who will be moving on to face Shuaboo.
All right, now, of course, we've seen Seox so far in this bracket, but Jita, a very, very stable, well-rounded character, possibly one of the most stable and well-rounded in the game right now. Doesn't really have too many severe weaknesses, if any. A lot of very solid strengths alongside that as well. Great fireball game, great reversal, incredible corner carry, and just an incredibly well-rounded character.
Absolutely, and I mean, you've seen 6 all weekend long. What else can you say about this character other than it can be incredibly impressive? But Neokarsh is the one with first blood.
Not able to convert off of the counter hit for bar medium right there.
Neokarsh ending those strings in fireball. DaFeetLee must be noticing that, and you know, a parry might come out to attempt to deter Neokarsh from getting that block thing down. DaFeetLee trying to answer back. Great punish with the distance for Neokarsh. Gets a knockdown.
Yeah, that was very, very good. Making sure to commit to that dash in order to be able to get that far medium punish. Oh, the safe jump right there. That's going to be a solid chunk of damage for DaFeetLee, as well as the corner control.
This is what DaFeetLee wanted. Late tech from Neokarsh, but battling back, challenging, and ending it with the if it's blue, it's true. Maximum damage combo here for Neokarsh for the down.
Very, very nice from Neokarsh right there. More than happy, knowing the life lead that he had, knowing that a single hit from Seox would not get the KO there. Chose to challenge, and it worked out very well in his favor. Count hit on the empty hand.
Neokarsh shoved into the right corner very early. DaFeetLee happy to block out the fireballs. What a punish with the 5H.
Superb with punish, and that's so, so critical for Jita being able to get those buffers, get those one hit confirmed into solid damage, again into the medium Vorpal Blade.
Another 5H connection for Neokarsh, and then the 5M. Neokarsh beating DaFeetLee to the punch time and time again. EXDP resets with the safe jump as well. DaFeetLee in a lot of trouble here.
Yep, now you're having to deal with this stagger pressure from Jita. Very solid strike throw game on this character, thanks to, once again, her mobility. But DaFeetLee fighting back.
Oh, another challenge! Neokarsh does not believe in whatever gospel DaFeetLee is trying to preach. Not today, sir.
Not at all. DaFeetLee desperately trying to get these plus frames, get these advantageous situations, but Neokarsh, understanding the lead that he has, is more than happy to challenge.
The risk reward right now is paying off so big for Neokarsh, not only in getting game 1, but putting it into the mind of a 6 player that maybe my rush down, my standard type of annoyance will not work.
Oh, tries to pull out the challenge that time, this time not working out in DaFeetLee's favor.
Neokarsh getting opened up low. DaFeetLee finally with some offensive momentum. There's the light, but no belief with the throw. Neokarsh with a little bit of a punish, but not much.
Yeah, very unfortunate for DaFeetLee right there, getting the counter. Lovely use of the far medium to get the SBA. That's going to be around for DaFeetLee this time.
This is the round that DaFeetLee needed, especially after losing game one like that. Put a little bit more belief back into your approach and your game plan. And now it's going to be up to Neokarsh to adapt to some of these new mannerisms from DaFeetLee.
The neutral jump. Oh, gets La Malady again, and that's going to be full corner carry. Gets the combo off the wall bounce. Doesn't end in the DP though, but calls out the Thunder Flash.
Neokarsh has been locked into the parry timings and gets a round 5H starter. Big damage and a perfect.
Answering back in emphatic fashion is Neokarsh, now 1 round away from advancing into losers quarters.
Neokarsh looking to punish and does, waits for the timing to end on the parry. DaFeetLee losing the momentum slowly but surely. The dash in, Neokarsh hammering away at the guard. DaFeetLee trying to fight back.
Looking real tough, and an amazing far H interception from Neokarsh right there. He is in absolute control of this set right now. Finally, the Thunder Flash hits its mark. DaFeetLee can start his offense. DaFeetLee
trying to establish some sort of momentum. Gets a big hit here. Oh, opened up, but no full conversion. And every time, DaFeetLee still answering. EX Records come through. Neokarsh in a whole lot of trouble. Yep. Skybound art.
Here comes the Enlightenment install. Lovely DP to immediately diffuse that pressure. Waits out the Thunder Flash.
Neokarsh only needs a tap into a confirm to end this. DaFeetLee on last legs here, off the wall, but no continuation. EX Rekka backdash. Neokarsh answering back and waited and baited. Devastated is DaFeetLee. Neokarsh sending out DaFeetLee 2-0.
That was a superb performance from Neokarsh. The way that he just waited and, as you say, waited and baited out a lot of those Thunder Flashes, a lot of those defensive options that DaFeetLee wanted to go for. Really, really clean gameplay. He'll be moving on to losers quarters, where he'll be fighting off against Shuaboo. 1-6 into another.
Listen, sometimes that's the reward, but if I'm Shuaboo, I'm raising some question marks a little bit about what I'm going to do. How am I going to approach this version of Neokarsh that's happy to deal with all of the options that 6 has? But while that's being figured out, we're going to jump to a short break, run some, of the promotional ads here, but keep it locked to Combo Breaker 2022, Granblue Fantasy versus Top 8. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back once again, everybody, to Combo Breaker 2022. Here we have more Top 8 Granblue Fantasy versus action. I am once again Viram, and with me, of course,
Maverick. As always, Viram, we saw a fantastic set to end the beginning part of our top 8, Neokarsh taking it convincingly over DaFeetLee, and we're going to get straight back into the losers side of things. I see a Fairy on the screen, so I can only imagine that Flowerman's doing a button check. But if we look at the remainers, we have Buscar Luz and ZomBmu on the winner's side. Flowerman, guard user, first side of losers quarters. Other side, Shuaboo and Neokarsh. Neokarsh winning the absolute pleasure of facing another 6.
Yeah. Literally the 2 6s left in this bracket back to back for Neokarsh. But of course, once again, our first losers quarters set here at Granblue Fantasy versus Combo Breaker 2022. Flowerman versus guard user.
Yes.
Fairy versus Zoe. 2 of the most technical and seasoned players of their respective characters duking it out here.
And this is going to be a different matchup, for both of these players. Flowerman going down to ZomBmu earlier, wasn't exactly able to really establish the gameplay that they wanted. So I know in this loser side, they've had time to recollect and rethink. Guard user, on the other hand, coming off a victory. So, yes. A tale of 2 different sides of combat. But this one is going to be for everything for their bracket lives. Flowerman, guard user in a good old-fashioned 1st to 2.
Yep, loser of this set will get 5th here at Combo Breaker. Once again, you made it this far. You always want to try to push all the way.
There we go, Flowerman again, starting off with that slow and patient play, just waiting and willing to see what their opponent's going to do. The crouching medium from guard user strikes first blood, but Flowerman answers right back.
Lovely use of the Beppo right there, just anti-air.
The full screen game working out for Flowerman just a little bit better. Trading of the pet to Pokemon Battle has been established.
Right, there we go. Good from Flowerman to answer back versus that that aerial spinning slash. Remember, the EX version is the only one that is plus on block. You can challenge. This pressure so far. Good blocks from guard user.
Guard user finally getting a jump in, but no knockdown just yet. Great blocks from Flowerman with throw, no punish. The sweep, though, will get the knockdown that Flowerman wants to set up GG.
Opening up with the crouching light there into a solid combo. Is that going to punish? No, not from that range, and that's going to be an easy punish for Flowerman.
2 hooves to the chest, Flowerman giving a nod. They're saying, yep, no, I'm wide awake, don't worry about that. Guard user gonna have to go back to some different options, but Flowerman winning out that patient play of round 1.
I like that, using the aerial, the EX spinning slash, and again, we're seeing these jumps coming out to bait out these throws.
Flowerman in the corner, you gotta wonder if they're going to be able to, and they do get the back throw, put themselves back in. Unfortunately, they do have DP, may not want to use it just yet though in this set.
Yeah, good escape from Flowerman, making use of the drill, the spectral dive. Trades with the dragon right there, but now Zoe, no dragon to speak of.
And this is Flowerman's opportunity. If they can score a knockdown, they can really start to party with no Zoe. Guard user taking offense into their own hands. Flowerman getting a chance back to answer with the auto combo. Beppo whiffs. Guard user no punish.
Lovely sweep once again right there, coming out from Flowerman. Not close enough just yet to really start applying that pressure with the install. Wants to save it, most likely.
Nice roll through from Flowerman. The other side, off the wall, into the Indiana Jones, setting up GG. Gets the hit, and now it's install time.
Yep.
Taming the dragon is Flowerman for game 1.
Very, very nice. Getting the confirm into the install obviously allows you to get that combo, but even if Flowerman hadn't got the hit there, far heavy to install will allow them to set up a 50-50 situation either way, where you're guessing for your life nonetheless.
We got some waves in the crowd. They like it. They're approving of Flowerman's victory right there. You got 1 game left if you're Flowerman, and if guard user, you're just focusing on 1 round at a time at this point.
Absolutely.
Look at this, Flowerman just, even though those don't do a lot of damage, they pester the opponent. They say, hey, this vertical space, it belongs to me right now.
Yeah, and you can tell that guard user is hesitant to want to try to go for the crossover because Flowerman has been mixing up in previous rounds, far medium with the 2M and the sweep. That sweep having caught guard user a few times already.
There's the laser, the jump over. Flowerman checking with the light. Gonna have to keep the offense a little bit tighter. Great answer back from guard user.
Wow, that's gonna anti-air with the ball. Doesn't hit, but gets clipped in the shins.
Flowerman with a huge life lead, and being the type of technical and patient player that they are, they're willing to just slow things down and slowly whittle away. Death by 1,000 whips.
The way that Flowerman is playing, just this very, very methodical, disciplined pace of gameplay. Lovely check with the 2M right there, not allowing the dragon to even start up, and the far heavy 1 round away is Flowerman from advancing to lose the semis.
Listen, Flowerman is just slowly but surely putting a session in all the players' mind that likes to do the range game. But this is how you get it done. Guard user answering out quickly, but again, lands in a full screen scenario, which then turns the tables back to Flowerman.
Yeah, very unfortunate right there that we didn't get the aerial EX Thunder out of that confirm. That would have allowed for the hard knockdown and an easy way to run in and start applying that offense. Good check again from Flowerman. More than happy to press these buttons.
So happy to press the button. There's the drill kick, but a check from guard user. Flowerman hard knockdown, shoved into the corner with the corpse run.
Yeah, despite how slow these two are playing the neutral, they're very aggressive on defense so far.
Absolutely, and that's something that Flowerman loves to do, is to just wake up buttons, let the opponent know you don't just get to run offense just because you knocked me down.
Great blocks and all of this pressure coming out from guard user.
Flowerman just whipping away at the horizontal space. Another sweep. At least 6 or 7 of them have landed in the set, and just gives Flowerman everything they want. Guard user patiently trying to find the range where they can start to play Zoe.
And as a result, of course, those sweeps chipping away at guard user's life, as well as the dragon meter offline. Now it's back.
Here comes the ball. Guard user's gonna have to guess here what Flowerman wants to do.
That's gonna whip. Yeah, got a combo into the ball.
It's such a slow pace on the screen, but you know in the minds of the two players, there's just all sorts of thoughts and neurons firing and options. Should I do this? Can I advance forward? Is Flowerman going to sweep? When can I throw out Dragon? Flowerman on the other end. How is guard user going to dash forward? When are they going to go for EX Thunder? When should I use ball? There's so much mental activity happening that the slow pace on the screen can be very deceiving.
Yeah, it's very, very easy to fall victim to just feeling very scatterbrained in that moment. I'm not sure if... I think, of course, with that SBA, guard user wanted to try to call out Flowerman advancing in, but instead just kind of holds a very, very disciplined distance to get away from that option, and as a result, able to capitalize from there.
Listen, that is the type of play that here in the Midwest we're used to seeing from Flowerman. It's done them very well, and it's good to see them moving on in the brackets. But, of course, hats off to guard user for making that run, making it into top 8 and a little bit further. That is, out of all the people that signed up to play Granblue here at Combo Breaker, that is not a bad spot to end at. Absolutely
not. But coming up next, we have Shuaboo versus Neokarsh once again. Seox versus Jita.
Neokarsh, you know, we were wondering whether they were going to use Jita or Catalina in the 6th matchup, but I think Neokarsh in the last set that we saw them play put a convincing argument forward for why you should use Jita against 6.
Yep, most definitely.
Now, of course, Shuaboo, a different player than DaFeetLee, something to point out. Shuaboo, the 6th player in the U.S., not just a 6th player. So if there's one person that's going to take 6 to the Apex, at this point in time, it's Shuaboo. And I can't imagine that they were expecting to even be on this side of losers this early in the top 8.
Yeah, Shuaboo definitely one of those players one would have expected to see in winners finals right now against ZomBmu. I believe Shuaboo is the 2nd seed of the tournament, so a little minor upset between him and Buscar Luz. Of course, Buscar Luz no slouch as we saw before, but yeah, Shuaboo now got to make a slightly longer run than he was probably expecting to.
Yeah, and this is going to be so important for Neokarsh to be able to establish a quick round start. We might get a little bit of a button check here, so may not get straight into it, but again, the way that Neokarsh answered DaFeetLee's usage of 6's tools is one of the best ways I've ever seen someone play against the character.
Yeah. Yeah, really, really good. It just felt like he had adapted to DaFeetLee's particular style of 6 very, very quickly and very, very well. You know, the way that he was just kind of walking back, waiting out the follow-up to the wrecker, and then just punishing accordingly. So, so good.
Absolutely good. Using, you know, standing medium, standing heavy, just as whiff punishes in spaces where I know typical 6 players would say, well, I get to do that for free, right? Like, why I should be able to aggress and then back off, and then you just have to hold that pressure. And Neokarsh said, no, actually, I do not. It's you that has to be concerned when you approach me. So I'm curious to see this, how this is going to start in Neokarsh's momentum at the beginning and answering some of those opening gambits. You know, the empty hand, how am I going to deal with that? How am I going to deal with Thunder Flash? Will Shuaboo use it like DaFeetLee? All of those things will be so important right at the beginning because, again, this is still 2 out of 3 territory.
Yeah. Yeah, the ability to just adapt to the player that you're fighting is so, so critical at this point in the bracket.
Character select.
All right, into character select. It looks like it's going to still be the Jita. Certainly cannot blame Neokarsh. Even brought out the actual sword and not the fish. It's a business day on Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit of discussion here. Might be asking about stage and music, perhaps.
And even Shuaboo not locking in that Rosetta mask, going for a much more serious looking one.
All right, there's the fist bump, so we're going to get into it. This will be the last losers quarters of the day. Shuaboo versus Neokarsh, 6 versus Jita. Let's see if we get the intros or we're getting straight into it.
I feel like we'll get straight into it. Yep.
Yes, absolutely.
Battle 1. Engage.
Ooh, EX air fireball allows Shuaboo to get in. It catches Neokarsh landing.
I think already what we've seen from Shuaboo so far is a much more liberal use of that Gate of Demons, the 2-1-4 projectile. That move is so good for Seox.
Oh.
Great empty hand as well.
Through the projectile, wake up, regular DP from Neokarsh, but an immediate counter poke from Shuaboo, and that went completely different than what Neokarsh saw from DaFeetLee.
Absolutely so, and now I think Neokarsh is going to have to very quickly adapt to what he just fought. Excellent start right there with the far heavy.
Gets some charge on the unique as well. 2H, not able to continue on that, but Shuaboo advancing forward with the Rekka. Neokarsh pushed into the corner, gets opened up low, but nothing doing off of it.
Right, just gets those plus frames. Now backs off, doesn't want to overextend.
Oh, the run in into the tick throw. A couple of lights there. EX spin slash.
And there's that incredible corner carry from Jita. Calls out the 5U with the fireball. This is a real nice situation for Neokarsh. Gets the opening with the jump in. 1 round apiece.
Good thing Lint is over because that was a meaty jump in right there.
Indeed it was. Excellent interception of the 214M right there. And there's the light pressure not going to get the follow-up. But there is the far M into the EX Vorpal Blade. Full combo coming out for Neokarsh.
Yep, here comes the safe jump as well. You got to hold that. Shuaboo fighting out of the corner, gets a hit, scores a knockdown, goes into the Genaging install. Now Neokarsh really has to stay awake at the wheel. Gets thrown. That's probably the least of the worst options.
Yep. Even though Shuaboo didn't get too much damage, managed to get full corner carry thanks to that install, but now completely reversed. Late tech twice, still alive, but the chip from the EX Vorpal Blade. Neokarsh, 1 game up.
Some chips with the fish of the meat earlier. Neokarsh serving up a meal to Shuaboo. Shuaboo taking some time to think about it, goes straight back into it, and here we go, game 2. Can Neokarsh take down both 6s?
A big empty hand to start off. Once again, forcing Neokarsh into the corner. Plus frames all over the place. Not going to get the safe jab right there.
EX backs off. The Shuaboo goes with the empty hand. The turnaround though on Neokarsh, but a drop allows Shuaboo to move forward. The register wide open again.
The Malady once again going for the Enlightenment. Wants that stage control. Gets the throw. The DP, yes.
Great DP, but there's the Thunder Flash back into the corner. Goes Neokarsh, EX Fireball for the finish. Absolutely, Shuaboo.
I love that option right there to go for the EX Gate of Demons, just to call out that defensive option from Neokarsh.
Oh, what a DP! Don't you dare dive at me, Neokarsh. Letting them know what's up in the air.
Oh, and the run forward as well from Neokarsh. Neokarsh making such incredible decisions versus Shuaboo's neutral options.
Neokarsh moving forward, checking with the low light. Shuaboo just happy to down back. Standard fireball, nothing doing on the empty palm. But a great poke from Shuaboo, gets a hard knockdown after the EX.
All right, lovely stack of pressure into the throw. Continue the stackers, catches the fuzzy jump. Lovely block against the DP. That's going to be a solid chunk of damage. Most likely going to end in the Enlightenment. There it is. Corner pressure. Full force. The stackers on the lights. But the answer from Neokarsh.
Neokarsh has not been deterred. Even after having DP blocked, still locked and loaded on the defensive counter pokes. Shuaboo looking for a way to approach. Does not want to run into some of those medium and heavy buttons from Jita. Charge fireball. Standing dodge from Shuaboo.
Right, slowly is Shuaboo edging Neokarsh into the corner, but what an answer with the SBA!
The full gambit of weapons, all of them in the fireball to the chest for the rest. Wow. Neokarsh.
The damage on that raw SBA is among the highest in the game on technical input. And now 1 round apiece, Neokarsh 1 round away from advancing into loser semis.
This would be so big for Neokarsh to be able to take out Shuaboo here. However, let's not count out Shuaboo just yet. A medium after the roll through. Neokarsh just answering time and time again on the neutral situation. Teleport through. EX Rekka. Shuaboo has some advantage here.
Great throw to catch Neokarsh walking back. He does like that walk back a lot. Counter hit on the light. Going to go into a full extension.
Here comes the Enlightenment, and the 3 Wise Men survival game begins for Neokarsh. Super Skybound Art available. Oh, a counter hit, and Shuaboo staying alive, sending us into the all-important Game 3.
Very, very nice. Just throwing off that offensive timing a little bit by going for the bar heavy to get that counter poke situation. And of course, when that Enlightenment is active, Seahawks can confirm basically off of any button into more normals.
Yeah, it's such a good decision from Shuaboo because Neokarsh's defense is what they're banking really their turnarounds on, and so using the Enlightenment will force Neokarsh to either block longer or pay even larger if they falter on defense.
Love the choice to run in and aggressively answer. Neokarsh getting the full combo as a result.
Reset. Oh, the step back on the Thunder Flash. Heavy answer from Neokarsh. Charge Fireball. Ender into the EXDP. And here comes the safe jump. What's it going to be?
Once again, the staggers. Good tech on the throw.
Oh, Neokarsh playing convincingly in that round and now looking at a set point once again.
Gorgeous slight delay on that 2M. Just allowed for that opening right there.
Neokarsh stepping back, swinging with the heavy, not getting much off of a Shuaboo. Dodges past, but stays out of that medium range.
Right, fades back, gets the combo off the EX Gear Demons, and now it's going to be solid corner damage.
Shuaboo looking for Neokarsh, just trying to counter poke and waiting for them to make a whiff so they can punish, but Neokarsh really hasn't been getting punished for any of the buttons they've been sticking out. Pause on the Thunder Flash, not quick enough to punish.
Goes for the side switch, misses the safe jab timing. Unfortunate for Shuaboo right there. That probably would have been the round if he managed to get it.
Shuaboo going with the air fireball again. Nothing doing. Neokarsh happy to just play slowly, try to whittle away at the life lead that Shuaboo has.
Lovely 2-on-4L. Oh, a rising, most likely meant to be a TK.
All right, here we go. Neokarsh almost evened up, and the light confirm will definitely turn things in their favor. Has to be super, super careful about what happens next here.
I don't think anything is going to happen next.
Goodness.
This might be it. That was an optimal confirm off of those lights, but that health is going very, very slowly. Just about does it. Neokarsh able to take it over Shuaboo 2-1, and he will be advancing into loser semis against Flowerman.
Both sixes sent to their grave by Neokarsh in a very, very convincing fashion. First DaFeetLee and then Shuaboo shortly after. Neokarsh has to be feeling really, really good about themselves at this point in the bracket. However, your next opponent is a completely different type of game style.
Yep. Pretty much opposite end of the spectrum, but if there is a character and a player who is able to adapt around those different situations, is definitely Neokarsh. Made a lot of sense, honestly, to focus on using Jita throughout this bracket. Jita, as mentioned before, incredibly versatile character, a real Swiss Army knife, has very solid tools for every situation. No real characters that really give her a super, super hard time. You've got one or two matchups here and there that are a little bit difficult than normal, but aside from that, incredibly, incredibly solid character. But now, coming up next, we have Winners Finals, ZomBmu versus Buscar Luz.
This is going to be an incredible, incredible match. Lewayne versus Cagliostro. 3 out of 5, finally we are here in that territory. So not only is it going to be a good set, it's going to be a long one and could go 5 games with the way that Buscar Luz is playing. However, ZomBmu, I mean, first seed in the bracket, you know, doing incredibly well, executing the way that we expect that they think that they would execute. Their match against Flowerman was just incredible. It was surgical.
Yeah.
And if they can continue to play like that and execute the game plan that they have for Lewayne and Buscar, I can't envision a world where they don't end up on winner's side of Grand Finals.
Yeah, this is going to be a real tough challenge for Buscar Luz. He has to play at an ascended level of gameplay if he wants to take out this titan of US Granblue Fantasy Versus right here in ZomBmu. That said, though, we have seen him throughout this bracket play incredibly well. That set against Shuaboo, once again, we mentioned before, was a bit of an upset. But yeah, they're going to need to do incredibly well here.
It is, and you know, ZomBmu, again, loves to put opponents in what I like to call the jitters, right? Where they start to try to force scenarios that are unwise and taking more risks than they most likely would want to in a normal scenario. But Buscar Luz plays Lwane, and Lwane has the X factor of Yggdrasil. And no matter what character you have in this game, you still have to play the minigame when Yggdrasil comes out.
Now, of course, some characters are better at playing that minigame than others. I would say that Kag is probably one of the better ones, having access to that teleport and various airstall options to get around the various attacks of Yggdrasil. Nonetheless, who knows if we'll even see that come into play here.
Absolutely true. And it only takes one mistimed answer or response to an option from Yggdrasil to put you into a very, very tough scenario. And we might be getting a bit of a button check. Yeah, looks like it.
Oh, I'm not even sure.
Maybe not.
Yeah, these two just look like they're going for their usual full screen games. A lot of long distance chips so far. All right, there's that starting 4-5H coming out from ZomBmu.
Wake up parry, but ZomBmu not falling, getting the standing dodge, and immediately putting Buscar into the corner. Teleport, such tricky stuff.
There's pressure coming out from Zombie right now. That is going to be the round.
Ooh. Again, ZomBmu just showing how they can eliminate any sort of space for a character to be themselves and set up win conditions.
All right, good call out with the laser right there. This is the start of Buscar Luz's offense. How will Zombie respond?
Zombie teleported, but caught by Buscar. Didn't get the conversion on the falling light hit, however, still has momentum. Run up throw. Buscar lays down the laser as well. Went for the parry, nothing doing. The homies come out, teleport hangs in the sky long enough to get out of the corner.
Yeah, even though Zombie hasn't really found a solid hit so far, managed to get out of the corner, allowed to breathe.
Oh, HPA.
Yeah, you can just run over those traps without care in the world.
Absolutely. Buscar trying to delay to get ZomBmu to flinch. Did not have enough of the chip, but the stand medium counter finishes it.
I like that a lot. Do not allow Cagliostro to freely set up those EX traps in your face. It is punishable, but it's done on the idea that she's conditioned you into wanting to play play very passive on defense.
The teleport, another catch from Buscar. Keeping their eyes on the prize and the skies. Here we go, full conversion, awesome sauce.
Yeah, all that damage off the non-counted, the unblockable setup into the HPA likely here it comes. And now ZomBmu most likely going to lose this round right here.
The stand dodge, popping the bottle rockets and the chip damage with the boys. Breaking open the whole bag for the party time. And ZomBmu started off incredibly well, but Buscar's just upped the tempo and kept up.
Yeah, incredible showing game one coming out from Buscar Luz, and now the pressure continues. Gets the counter hit confirm into the EX awesome source. Good spot dodge on the unblockable this time and answers back with the lights.
Absolutely, but again, the teleport getting blown up. That's one of the options that ZomBmu loves to use. There, it finally works out. Buscar's put into the corner.
Love the delay right there, but Buscar very good on defense, and that is a huge hit for ZomBmu. Doesn't go for the SSBA.
Only needs to tap into a super confirm to finish out Buscar. However, that blue life means that Yggdrasil is available. Can Yggdrasil come out? No! ZomBmu keeping the strings tight and threatening Buscar enough that you could not summon Yggdrasil. Did not have enough space.
Once again, ZomBmu taking that first round. Plus frames.
Pushed back into the hazards on the ground. And you see now Buscar slowly but surely not having room to set up things like Catalina Bot. Gets the clash, the sweep for the knockdown. This is good.
Very good indeed. Triple light, good for H once again. He's been making really good use of that when he's got ZomBmu in the corner to get those potential confirmed. We don't see it there. The double spear. Oh. The sweep, very nice from Zombie.
Clearing out the whole cast, but wake up EX Tatsu from Buscar, however, going to eat a ton of damage here. Not quite dead, but certainly in the red. Needs to make the most careful of calculations.
Yeah, just a little bit too early on that spot dodge timing. Unfortunate for Buscar Luz, and now Zombie getting a game on the board.
Anytime that you can force Luane into a scenario where Yggdrasil is not on the table, that's a huge W. And that's a game plan that you're going to want to stick to. Game 3 here between these two in winners finals.
Great 2H, no follow-up unfortunately. Angle less than ideal. M spear.
Oh, look at the staggers. Opened up for a throw. Buscar Luz moving forward, trying to close out this neutral space once again.
And I really like that Buscar Luz is advancing like forward enough such that the traps are not a threat at that range. Lovely corner combo right there. Full extension. Likely once again it's the HPA. Doesn't even need it.
The low confirm and Buscar Luz answering back very quickly. Battle 2.
Oh, no punish on the parry for ZomBmu right there. And again, that Luane sweep, one of the best in the game.
Especially when it's spaced out so well like Buscar's doing it. Catches the teleport again. ZomBmu with no escape opportunity. Straight to the other side. Finally gets a chance to lay down some traps, but immediately the sweep blows it up.
Buscar just so ready for a lot of these teleports. This pressure coming out from Luane. Finally, a respite for ZomBmu. Gets the opening after the parry.
ZomBmu increasing the speed at which the game is being played here. Buscar's stuck in the corner. The lance connects into the trap. What a juggle from ZomBmu all over the screen.
Look at that damage. Doesn't choose to confirm into SBA. That may come back to bite, but never mind. The whiff throw is going to be punished. ZomBmu evening up the rounds.
You notice that ZomBmu started to really weave in the traps into block strings and up the tempo at which the pressure was being applied to force Buscar to stay away from the sweep that had been working out really well.
Yes. There we go.
Lance comes out. Buscar is slowly taking their time, getting rid of one of the ground hazards. The homies will take care of the rest. Your friends always got your back.
Yep. Luane definitely having a good number of tools to get rid of those traps between the sweep, the 2M, the 2L, as well as Sammy.
Laser through the projectile, yes. Sammy, though, tripped up early, wasn't able really to get to the hazards, and Buscar, even though is not really taking a lot of damage, isn't exactly putting any on the Cagliostro either.
Yeah, this is a completely different tempo of game from what we saw in all the previous ones. This has been almost primarily played full screen.
Buscar using some of the unique ability to get some food there at the full screen game, but you have to be careful because one big hit and Cagliostro's in just like that.
Yeah, finally the first real opening with less than 40 seconds left on the clock.
Teleport
challenge. Oh, but the 5H from Zombie just dispelling everything right there. 2-1 to ZomBmu.
2-1 ZomBmu. ZomBmu showing that they have proficiency in many types of game styles, and the slowdown really did allow Zombie to not only just frustrate Buscar, but establish like you really have to find an answer to multiple ways that I want to approach this matchup.
Yes. Just being able to completely change the tempo of the game like that, so good, and really just a testament to Zombie's capability as a player.
Absolutely. Buscar calling in some assists from the friends, lays down the toys as well. Zombie stuck in the corner. Good dodges so far. Gets stabbed up by the medium, but Buscar really needs to find a way to get that knockdown to set up the real fun for Luane.
Gets a 2L, nothing off of it. All right, good stuff for Buscar Luz right there, getting that opening to start applying his own pressure. Oh. Again, the call out.
Great checks there from Buscar. Zombie in a lot of trouble, gets hit overhead just cleanly. And here's a tick throw set up. You got to guess with the Catalina bot. Oh, what a decision from Zombie to get out that corner.
Yep. Unfortunate whiff on the throw. Here comes another throw from Zombie. Ideally, he wants to get an opening before Buscar Luz hits that point. And there it is.
ZomBmu, 1 round away from grand finals on the winner side. That is where you want to be if you're ZomBmu, and they only need to execute for 1 more round to get there.
And once again, just more than happy to play this full screen game, using the 5U collapse, using those spears.
Oh, the lance comes through on the ground, disrupts the Catalina bomb. Caught in the trap. Buscar gets a double for his troubles and now shoved into the right side.
Yeah, real unfortunate for Buscar Luz right there. He probably thought that he landed just in front of the trap rather than on top of it. There's the opening with the low. This is looking so good for ZomBmu right now. One more opening will be enough to win him Grand Finals. The parry works out.
Buscar has a chance here, but not a lot of room to make any errors. You got to think, when will your jaws come out? Does it even matter at this point in life? Maybe, maybe not. But Buscar needs to find a way to disrupt ZomBmu, and that's not it.
Yeah,
shoved into the corner, slide through.
It's looking very, very bleak for Buscar Luz right now, and there it is. The pizza cutter far medium, taking him out and allowing ZomBmu to advance into winner's side of Grand Finals.
We have our first Grand Finalist of the day, and it's going to be ZomBmu, #1 seeded in the tournament, and proving exactly why.
That he was, but what a fight that Buscar Luz brought to him nonetheless. It was very, very good gameplay in so many areas of the game. You know, we saw him calling out a lot of those teleports. We saw him working very well around a lot of zombies' tricks. It wasn't until the pace was slowed down so significantly where Buscar Luz was kind of thrown off his game a little bit.
Absolutely, and Big Willie resting, relaxing, and enjoying some fantastic Granblue Fantasy Versus. We hope you have been as well. If you have not already, tweet it out, let the people know what's going on. Twitch.tv/BG Callisto, where you can see the rest of this fantastic Granblue Fantasy Versus action. Coming up next, the hometown hero of Flowerman returns in loser semis against, arguably, outside of maybe ZomBmu, one of the hottest players in this top 8, Neokarsh.
Yeah, Neokarsh has been making an incredible run so far on the loser side, taking out two of the top Seoxes, well, the two top Seoxes in this bracket so far. But as you mentioned before, this is a completely different style of gameplay that he's going to have to adapt to, a completely different pace, and now he's going to have to play it a lot slower, a lot more methodical.
Yeah, Flowerman, so patient. All the patience we saw Neokarsh displaying and whiff punishing and just hanging out in ranges where the opponent's used to using their tools to either get advantage on block or being safe on block. Flowerman does that times 10. This character enables them to do that times 10. So
that it does.
It's a decision for Neokarsh. Do I stay with the Jita, who's really running hot for me, or do I switch to Catalina? Getting all the buttons mapped out, and I know Flowerman, you know, here in Chicago, Illinois, hometown, you're in the Midwest, you want to do well for yourself in the crowd. I can only imagine they're thinking of how good it would feel to advance to losers finals and then perhaps into grand finals, get a run back against ZomBmu.
Ferry versus Jita.
Looks like it's going to be the Jita the rest of the way through, at least up until this point, and I really can't blame them.
Yes. Once again, of course, because we're back to losers semis, it is once again first to 2 rather than the first to 3. We will be back to first to 3 once we hit losers finals.
So important here to start with the momentum, and you know, Neokarsh might be thinking perhaps I go with attempting to overwhelm Flowerman, right? Yeah. Disrupt that slow gameplay immediately. Jita can do that. She has the ability to play in that style. And so if they're able to establish that and put Flowerman on the back foot, could be really good for Neokarsh.
Believe in victory. Battle 1. Engage.
Neokarsh using the fireball here, trying to establish a little bit of horizontal threat of their own.
We've already seen something different with the way that Flowerman is playing this so far. Comparative to the previous sets where they started off by retreating, this time they're going for the advances. Lovely patience on the DP. Gonna get a nice string in the middle of the screen.
And Flowerman wisely just setting the GG, letting the threat exist, and seeing how the opponent responded and got a big reward off it. All Dogs Go to Heaven connects straight into the flaming sphere. Neokarsh stuck in the corner.
Gonna take a good chunk of chip from that. Oh, tries to call out the jump. Unfortunate, not going to get it, and that's gonna be a lovely long corner combo for Neokarsh right there.
Flowerman guarding up. Neokarsh trying to figure out a way to open Flowerman up, get a big conversion. Neokarsh does have Skybound Art available as well. Flowerman needs to be careful. There's a sweep. That's important. GG gets a counter hit as well.
Yeah,
Stuck.
That was a crucial sweep for Flowerman right there. Now having the corner control. Axoff trying to maybe create a reaction from Neokarsh.
GG gets laid down, and again, Flaming Sphere comes out. Standing dodge on the fireball as well. Flowerman able to advance forward. Yes!
Very, very nice. Tripping them up and getting them caught within that orb. Good stuff for Flowerman in the first game.
So important for Flowerman to win that round that way. Letting them know that, hey, my game style is going to work here, at least so far. Neokarsh opened up, caught with the Indiana Jones into the GG as well. Instant overhead blocks. Good stuff from Neokarsh.
Good check with the far light as well, and all this corner pressure gets the count hit on the whip. There comes the Bull Super once again. Goes for the dive, the aggressive answer this time, and the JL!
Oh, not on a Sunday. You can't be doing that.
Woo. You all got hit. We all got hit.
Everybody did.
If you didn't get hit by the dive, you got hit by the JL after. If you're saying you blocked that, you lied. You're lying.
And yeah, you definitely should not do that on today of all days. Flowerman taking some time. Neokarsh as well. Just saying, hey, okay, that was pretty rough. But in this scenario, you also need to look at what went well as you know, in accompanying with what went wrong. And yeah, I think Neokarsh is kind of examining that and thinking about that. We're going back into it first to 2. So Flowerman only needs 2 successful rounds to move on into losers finals. Patience playing off again Flowerman style. Neokarsh running into trouble. Charge fireball, standing dodge, no problem for Flowerman.
Side swaps, gets the sweep, tries to spot dodge in anticipation for a DP. Neokarsh not introducing that option just yet again.
Charge fireball, GG handles a little bit of it, but Flowerman getting clipped up. Neokarsh has an opportunity, just jump up dive kick from Flowerman.
Yeah, not able to get the combo there. Was against Jita standing. You get the combos off of that move on the crouching opponents.
Oh, the war of attrition just whittling away at the health of Neokarsh. You got to guard this. Install gets opened up low. Flowerman with the conversion. Set point.
Yeah, and one of the things about higher level Fairy is that she's a very draining character to play against. Very similar to a couple of the other zoning type characters of the game. You've really got to be on point for the entirety of the set, and if you're wearing down in your mental stamina, that can be a bad thing. But Neokarsh getting the opening with the lights.
This is definitely signs of life. Full roulette of abilities on cooldown. The staggers working out into the tick throw. Flowerman in trouble. Neokarsh finally has momentum.
They're ever important to you, but it doesn't matter. GG a little bit late to the party, and that's going to be a round for Neokarsh. Ever important to keep his bracket life alive.
Absolutely. Didn't even need the super there. Good stuff from Neokarsh to get in Flowerman's business, disrupt some of that slow gameplay, and put them on the back foot. GG hopping through one and hits of the fireball. Neokarsh just hanging out in that near full screen space. Slow and calculated jumps.
Big jumping from Flowerman right there, getting a little bit of damage on the board, but the fireball answers back.
Oh, the light exchange, the stare down going in Neokarsh's favor. EX Fireball, of course, EX DP Ender into the power raise instead, and tricky stuff. Flowerman opened up with a counter hit.
Yep, doesn't get the fireball cooldown back, unfortunately, not able to extend this as far as possible. Ferry is a lower health character, so this is going to really, really hurt. Not going to get the KO just yet.
Scaling save Flowerman now, but the relentless assault from Neokarsh fending off 2 set points.
Yes. Now that was a really scary situation at the end, of course, for Flowerman, just having to deal with that potential to die to the throw. Most likely tried to press to fight against the throw. As a result, got counter hit by the frame trap on the close medium. 1-1.
This is it. The rubber match is here. Game 3. Only one will move forward. Standing dodge on the hit grab. Flowerman, GG, saving the jump in. And now Flowerman's in with the dive kick. Neokarsh pushed back to that corner.
Probably use the EX Beppo right there just to force Neokarsh back into the corner. Doesn't follow up, unfortunately, after the whip.
Still has positioning, does Flowerman and Skybound Art if they want to use something. What a run up from Neokarsh, reading the GG attempt. And now Flowerman has to place a little bit of defense. Finally gets away.
Gets away, but is in the corner until that critical moment. Going to be forced to block this in the air. No, wasn't forced to block it in the air, but was forced to block nonetheless. And a great double JL coming out from Flowerman.
The overheads blessing the dome of Neokarsh, and now Flowerman has a huge life advantage. Late tech, but no damage down.
All right, back to the range where Flowerman wants to play. It was a little bit scary for a moment. Big jump, no anti-air. Yeah, this is pretty much a checkmate situation. It's going to be incredibly difficult to come back from this.
And perhaps that's why Flowerman didn't need the 2H. Now, why risk it, right? And just letting the jump-ins land shallow, and Flowerman with an answer back. Another set point, the third one for Flowerman. Can they convert?
Oh, good sweep right there coming out from Neokarsh. Tries to tick throw, but the late tech not coming through this time.
Staggers from Neokarsh, putting Flowerman fully on defense. Good blocks. Shallow jump in again. No whiff punish. The Flowerman escapes with the drill.
Again, the run-up sweep. Incredible stuff to Neokarsh so far.
And Flowerman has to be so careful here. Neokarsh with super available. A confirm could possibly kill.
Super and both. All of those cooldowns at the ready. Lovely whiff punish on the 2M.
Flowerman with a shallow drill. GG chipping away a little bit at the hell. Flowerman with a whiff. Neokarsh being so careful. Gets caught. You got to guess now. The roll through. Oh, almost a full confirm off of it.
That was such good awareness from Flowerman just to try to call out that option. Good throw from Neokarsh.
Neokarsh with plenty of life available. Yeah, just a couple of lights into a throw. And now we're at last round, last game. This is it.
This has been such an intense set so far, and that's a great way to start for Neokarsh. The count hit far medium. Here come the staggers. The Flatman answers back.
And Flowerman, not off to a terrible start, does have a little bit of a life deficit. Great answer from Flowerman, keeping him away. Pulled into the GG, the heavy into the EX knockdown confirmed. Flowerman going with the Flaming Sphere from full screen. Gonna have some room to work, drills in, lets the Sphere follow up.
Yep, and I love that usage of the Sphere right there, just to get all of that stage control, force Neokarsh into the corner. Great tech on the throw. But again, this life just gradually being whittled away on the side of Neokarsh.
Flowerman holding it together, but has a huge life lead. Neokarsh, though, can do a lot of damage on that Jita. However, you can't make any more mistakes, and it's Flowerman moving on to losers finals to face Buscar Luz.
Excellent stuff to Flowerman right there. They knew that Neokarsh wanted to try to force the issue, try to get in, get that big poke in order to get that corner carry and the confirm. Flowerman able to really prevail and move on to losers finals, top 3.
And you see how much it means to Flowerman, just being able to advance forward like that.
Yeah.
Feeling a ton of emotions, I'm sure, not even wanting to be in losers so early. Working their way back slowly but surely, having to fight guard user, having to fight Neokarsh, now up against another monumental challenge in Buscar Luz, who Lwayne really only faltered against ZomBmu, who's the best player that we have in the building.
Indeed, indeed, and honestly, it's really, really kind of draining at this point for Flowerman. They've been going back on various intense sets. The loser sets they played have been very, very close, but now having to fight this Titan in Buscar Luz, hopefully they have the endurance to be able to persevere.
Yeah, it's going to be just a mental challenge to be able to just weather the Lwayne storm. It's such a different game than playing against Jita. Lwayne just has options to make Fairy uncomfortable. Yes, you can use the whip to try to deter some of the assists there, but there's still Catalina bot, and there's still just the way that Buscar Luz sneaks in moves like sweep and spaces it so well, makes it frustrating even for Fairy players to be able to respond.
Yeah, both these characters have 2 of the best sweeps in the game. Fairy, of course, having all that lateral range. And just getting that hard knockdown relatively safe. Meanwhile, Lwayne's a moving sweep that is special cancelable. Probably the only one in the game, I believe.
Yes. Going to be important here for Flowerman to be able to establish the pace early. Deter Buscars from closing the distance, using things like standing medium in the awesome sauce and all of that. Going to do a quick button check here before we get into it. And I'm sure Flowerman's grateful for the time, to be honest with you, after that match against Neokarsh.
Yeah, time to just kind of take a little bit of a breather, recompose themselves. get back into the swing of things.
This is going to be such a curious matchup with all the interactions that can happen. I'm thinking about the Flaming Sphere, of course, you know, having GG, EXGG setups as well. You know, how is Buscar going to be able to respond to things like the instant overhead tricks? Will the roll through, you know, work for Buscar or not? It's a lot of, you know, calculated and timed interactions that both of these players are used to enforcing on their opponents, so now they have to respond to similar scenarios that they kind of established for themselves. Okay, here we go. Discussing it. Maybe staging music. Also important here to decide what you're going to listen to, especially for a 3 out of 5.
Yes, yes. It is kind of funny that we've seen quite a lot of the sets on the Coliseum. Of course, Coliseum, the staple online stage, but, you know, we're here offline. We can pick any stage, but that's still defaulting to the Coliseum. It's like, it's ingrained in the blood of all GBVS online players now.
It's just one of those things, you naturally do it. You don't even really think about it. But you still get to choose the song, and here we go. Flowerman, Buscar Luz, Losers Finals. Winner gets to do the dance with ZomBmu. Letting the intros go for the finals. Locked and loaded. And here we go.
Battle 1, engage.
Patience. Immediate patience. Buscar knows the rate that Flowerman wants to play. The sweep jumped over, and Buscar's off to a quick start.
Good check with the 2 elbow from Flowerman, and again there's that sweep. And a big chunk of damage in the corner. Awesome Sources back as well. I am very impressed that he blocked all of that with all of that visual noise happening, but Flowerman already at about 15% life, and that raw Awesome Source not going to get the KO just yet, but you have to deal with the HPA.
Yeah, you're going to have to guess correctly. Overhead opened up and immediately dead. Buscar not wasting any time in putting Flowerman into the corner, except for the beginning where they were both waiting.
Wow. Great call out on that 2H immediately from Flowerman, getting the big count hit and a decent chunk of damage.
Plenty of damage down. The Flowerman backing up, just waiting and anticipating what Buscar wants to do next. We saw the big jump in when the sweep attempt happened, so Flowerman's thinking about that, not wanting to get opened up again in that way.
Yeah. Very, very nice, just maintaining that range around Lewayne, such that they're particularly playing around the sweep range. They don't want to get caught by that again. That was the catalyst for everything that happened in that previous round.
There's the Flaming Sphere answering the assist call from Buscar. Another one comes out and away you go. Not today.
Swat away like a fly. Wow, able to avoid the bro as well as get the conversion.
GG comes out, Catalina bot for the missiles. The drill lands, but punished on landing. Unfortunate stuff. Buscar with the light conversion.
Yeah, and at this point, you can't let Lewayne have too much space. Lovely throw, answering both the potential parry as well as an attack, but here comes Iggy. And Ferry, another character that has various ways around Iggy. There's the swing, of course, the drill too. Just choosing to block all of this out. Not fast enough on the gas pensto.
Flowerman almost had it there. Great pushback. And again, Flowerman establishing the range game. An excellent survival on the Yggdrasil.
Yeah, if this set is going to go out the way that Flowerman wants to, I think we're going to see quite a lot of those lengthy rounds. There are only 27 seconds left on that clock last time.
Flowerman willing to play the slow game and do what they do best. Does not want to break that up just yet. Awesome Sauce in on the GG throw. However, back to full screen.
Love the decision to use the M. Awesome Sauce, just getting that little bit of extra distance. Great counter, but great poke right there.
Missiles comes out. Oh, just got clipped up by all of them. Buscar gets Flowerman towards the corner. Clash on the spin.
Good dodge coming out from Flowerman though.
Okay, here we go. Flowerman generating some offense with the meter. The slide through, and excuse me from Buscar. I'll have none of that.
Corner advantage to Flowerman right now. There comes GG, but the wake up HPA just to ignore all of that.
Put Flowerman into the guessing game. Oh, couple of successful blocks here. Surviving most of it. Flowerman able to, weather the storm of HPA.
Very small marginal life lead for Flowerman right now with almost 30 seconds left on the clock. Going to want to solidify this lead a little bit more.
Oh, slide through on the dispense, and now Flowerman in a whole bunch of trouble. Gonna have to guess. Gets opened up low. Buscar just like a snap. Turns the tables and takes game one.
Very, very nice from Buscar Luz.
It's so interesting to see the way that Buscar Luz is maneuvering around Flowerman's patient gameplay, and then just like a tiger, pouncing immediately the moment there's a big enough opening.
Ooh, Buscar Luz winning out in the sweep war right there, missing out on the awesome sauce, but still gonna get a good chunk of damage.
Slide through for the side switch. Flowerman swinging away, drill kick out of the corner. The chase down from Buscar, a single hit of awesome sauce. Pushes Flowerman into the corner, and there's the throw.
Staggers from Lewayne, very, very nice. Keeping up pin, good blocks from Flowerman though.
Oh,
Trades with the missiles right there.
You don't often see that, but Flowerman able to use it. However, getting clipped up from the jump in, and Buscar continuing on with another round win. Great stuff from Flowerman, disrupting the Catalina bot. Trying to throw out GG, but has to be careful. We saw Buscar take advantage of a GG toss before.
Yeah, it definitely feels like now. Good stuff using the Beppo right there. Getting the full corner conversion into the install, and now you've got to guess here.
You got to guess multiple times.
Yep. Oh, doesn't get the low. That was incredible right there. Baits out that parry beautifully, and the perfect round is the answer from Flowerman.
And that's the threat, right? You see Buscar doing so well against Flowerman, but just in the blink of an eye, Flowerman can put you into a multiple guess scenario where you lose all of your life on 2-round guesses.
Lovely XDP to arms back jump in. Now, of course, that option is offline. Good punish.
Oh, dispense lands, lays down the EXGG side switch, but cross-up protection activated. Buscar has to face the flaming sphere. Missiles come out, the swing through, and such smart stuff from Buscar just to get away.
Yep, I like that from Buscar. Evading, using the 5U to recover some HP and meter. Blocks the missiles and takes the throw. Again, very kind of slow-paced gameplay between these two. They're making a lot of really, really good defensive decisions, even once the other gets in.
Buscar happy to play at this slow pace, especially with a character like Lewayne. Punished with the counter hit. Heavy. Flowerman sending Buscar back to where he came from.
Big swing, but a nice interception with the air throw. There we go. Buscar loses turn.
The block on the overhead. Flowerman taking these rounds down to the limit. Standing medium connects, but nothing doing. Flowerman does have a life lead.
Life lead and 100 meter once again. 20 seconds left on the clock. The throw!
Oh my goodness, didn't get the link in the Yggdrasil because of that. Is able to be used. However, the timer will resume once this is over. How much health will Flowerman lose?
Oh, a little bit too much, I'm thinking, and then gets clipped by Yggdrasil.
If that throw had been a frame or two later, it would have gone into the sphere and arguably closed out the round for Flowerman, but instead, Buscar recovered, was in the blue, and immediately calling out the Yggdrasil.
Excellent decision, and now what was almost a 1-1 tie-up has now a 2-0 lead in Buscar Luz's favor. One more game will allow him to advance to grand finals where he'll get his run back versus ZomBmu.
Yeah, this is a long road for Flowerman, but a doable one. But you got to take it one step at a time, round to round.
And the question is, do they have the endurance to do so? You know, playing these long, drawn-out rounds, definitely exhausting.
It certainly is taxing on the mental. Buscar's with the throw into the corner on Flowerman. Awesome sauce catches Flowerman out the skies.
Wow, what a conversion right there. The M Awesome Sauce following up into another combo, tries to reset with the throw and gets the stagger this time. Buscar Luz on fire in this game.
Buscar looking for that run back against ZomBmu. Only needs one more successful round to do it. Flowerman, it is in now or never situation. Flowerman hanging around, waiting for Buscar to make a big mistake. Awesome sauce, the drill out of the corner.
Lovely JM right there.
Look at the patience from Buscar sliding through. Gotta block the GG, gotta get some mix now.
And look at all that chip damage. One of the advantages, at least for the opponent of that move, is that you can very easily just block all those hits for some extra meter. Gets the dive kick in. Goes for install. It's going to be a raw setup here. Lovely crossover right there from Buscar Luz, just to avoid the follow-up. But the wake up coming out from Flowerman.
Flowerman saying it like they mean it. There's the GG, disrupts the Catalina bot. Buscar's on the back foot, finally summons some of the homies to get some clearance. Awesome sauce back into the corner, throw. Flowerman still alive.
And he is, that's a lot of chip. Again, all of that chip damage. The 5U runs up and goes for the throw.
Gets bent, deals with one, has to evade the missiles, goes with the swing and the falling button. Flowerman hanging on. This is a round by round scenario for Flowerman.
The timing of that JH was really, really good. Did it earlier than Buscar Luz was expecting, and as a result was able to catch the pre-frames of the anti-air attempt.
Buscar starting off slow again, just an awesome sauce, almost seemingly out of nowhere. Double dispensing of the homies, but Flowerman again being thrown into the corner.
Buscar Luz's strike throw game with this character is honestly incredible.
It can be really frustrating as well, especially against a character that has so many tools. Oh my goodness, the boot out of the skies.
Jump up with the stanky leg, gets the EX Awesome Sauce from downtown. That's going to be the setup into the lights. This is looking bleak for Flowerman right now.
Guess for game, guess for tournament life. Flowerman trying to hold on, but does not. And Buscar Luz will be the other grand finalist here at Combo Breaker 2022.
Yeah, what an endurance test that entire set was for both players. That 3-0 score honestly is not indicative of how close those games were. You know, it really could have gone either way in a lot of those scenarios. I think each of those games went to round 3, if I recall. Yes.
Yes. It was, I mean, the best way you put it, it was taxing. It is a mental taxation, and even though Buscar Luz got the outcome that they wanted in getting not only a victory but a 3-0, you now have to face an opponent that will tax you even further in ZomBmu. It is not an easy road for Buscar Luz here on forward.
Yes, now of course, Granblue is kind of known as generally a slower paced game, but actually a lot of matchups I feel can go by quite quickly with regards to how players are able to assert their will onto their opponents. But if there's an example of a collection of sets that really demonstrate how slow and methodical the game can be, it is this top 3 right here. And I think we're going to see it once again in this grand finals. But of course, this has been Combo Breaker 2022. Yes. It has been an absolutely incredible event. Once again, almost 200 entrants here for Granblue Fantasy Versus, narrowed down to the final 2 in Buscar Luz and ZomBmu.
Listen, Buscar Luz needs 6 games to take this tournament. 3 to reset and send ZomBmu into losers, another 3 to be the champion, whereas ZomBmu has all the advantage on their side. 3 games is all they need to close the door in this chapter and put a star, a check mark next to the goal that they stated that they had, which was #1 at Combo Breaker 2022.
And what a fantastic accolade that would be leading up to the upcoming tournaments on the horizon. You know, CEO, of course, very soon. EVO, of course, the biggest one. Granblue Fantasy versus main stage game at EVO. Really exciting for a lot of players. But of course, we're still here at Combo Breaker. Quick button check.
Yeah, absolutely. Just a quick one to make sure everything's set and ready to go. It's certainly been a long but fantastic tournament, and we've settled to these two. I'm so curious as to what Buscar has to do differently, or what they will do differently, I should say, to be able to disrupt ZomBmu, who's shown proficiency at completely different styles of play. There are times where ZomBmu pesters you, just staggers your guard, forces you into a mistake. There's other times where ZomBmu says, I'll sit all the way on the other side of the screen. I'm fine here. I'll throw rocks. I'll set up traps. The moment you make a mistake, here comes the lands, and then I'm back in there. So it's a big challenge when you have a versatile, skilled player to try to dismantle.
Very, very much so. And of course, we saw the latter style, particularly effective versus Buscar Luz earlier in the winners' final set. Oh, they're changing it to English. They're changing it to English, yeah. Fair enough. English, I know ZomBmu is an advocate of the English view.
I don't know about that one. You got to win Combo Breaker first before you're able to do that. That is, we don't do that around here in the Midwest, but that's fine. I mean, there's nothing we can do, so I guess we'll go with it.
Yep, we're not the ones on the cab right now.
That's absolutely true, and so they've earned those spots. Buscar, you could have argued, you could have rock, paper, scissors, you could have done something, but we'll talk about that afterwards, because we have a grand final set of the ages ready to be played out for us. Here we go, grand finals, Granblue Fantasy versus 2022 Combo Breaker. Let's get it.
All right, the players are ready. We're getting used to this theme. One of the few characters in the game that received a vocal theme. The only non-evil character that received a vocal theme.
That's true. That is true. That's how cool he is. He doesn't need to be evil to get.
He's incredibly cool.
But no Eustace here. Cagliostro, Luane, the last two remaining characters and players here at this tournament.
And then letting the intros rock. We get to hear the dude bros, the boys,
just
in their English glory.
A couple of lads being glad.
Couple of playboys having a great old time, and a 1,000-year-old alchemist here to tear them apart.
A tale as old as time, Viram.
Of course. The classic.
You'll recognize the acme of my genius, even if I have to beat it into your head.
Negative reinforcement, certainly Cagliostro's stance that she's prone to go to, but here we go, off to the beginning. Buscar getting a knockdown, avoiding the pizza cutter, and in anti-aired ZomBmu and has the corner. This is so important for Buscar to start off fast.
Yeah, we've seen time and time again in these sets. Oh, goes for the back throw into the forward one. Forfeits the corner, but still in a good position until that bar heavy came out to play.
Oh, full charge, almost full charge on the unique. Buscar is in a ton of trouble having to guard so many difficult setups. Finally keeps it together and does not open up. What a sequence from Buscar.
Unrelenting pressure from ZomBmu as well, just dealing all that chip damage with the various tools in the kit. Great run-in with the anti-air, unable to convert any further, unfortunately.
There's the teleport out. Buscar blocking it up, but shoved into the corner. Went for a little bit of a poke, but ZomBmu out of danger zone.
Good tech on the throw, very, very important.
Oh, Buscar just so stuck. Oh, EX Awesome Sauce moving forward. Yggdrasil covered by the missiles.
Get this party started.
Yeah, you've got a lot of chip to deal with. Good spot dodge versus that. Oh, teleports forward right into the orb.
And listen, if Buscar was going to do this, I'm going to say they needed to win round one, force ZomBmu into a situation where they haven't gotten a round win on the board, and potentially maybe a sliver of perhaps Buscar can be a threat.
Buscar obviously warmed up, having played that long set versus Flowerman. Ready for multiple situations coming into this.
Oh, great jump in from Buscar. EX Awesome Sauce to the ground. Calling out the homies. The teleport, though, from ZomBmu gets him out of dodge.
Pushed back into the corner once again is Buscar Luz. But we've seen him fight from this position as we saw in the previous rounds. More than happy to keep holding that down back, steadily building up meter.
Look at this, Buscar can't even move forward. The lance comes out the moment a mistake is made. The same side teleport. ZomBmu with the conversion and a kill. What a long round 2 to tie things up in game 1.
Finally, ZomBmu, after that war of attrition, found the chink in Buscar Luz's armor and cracked it open to win that round.
Buscar might need to do a little bit of triage here in the mental space to be able to just keep focus. ZomBmu, however, feeling pretty good about that one. Laying down the hazards once again, limiting the space at which Buscar can even move forward. And a whiffed awesome sauce also spells disaster because you land right into the hazard.
Yep. These medium calculated spears are just wearing away once again. Buscar Luz taking all this chip, not finding a real opportunity to get anything started.
And look at that, even though the missiles came out, you had to deal with the hazards on the ground, allowed ZomBmu to get right back up off the ground.
Oh, I like that answer from Zombie, just going for the close light to check. Buscar Luz going for the stagger.
All the way through, the missiles come in again, but Zombie with the teleport and keeping Buscar out of distance with the counter poke. The trade's always going in ZomBmu's favor. Pizza cutter into double pizza cutter.
Excellent one-hit confirm coming out from ZomBmu. One game is on the board in his path to the 3 that he needs to win here at Combo Breaker 2022.
Listen, ZomBmu is looking at it as a 2 out of 3 at this situation. All I have to do is convert for 4 rounds, and I'm out of here with the #1 on my back. You see Buscar Luz, though, finally getting an opportunity here. Has ZomBmu in the corner. When will ZomBmu try to teleport out?
So far, the distance more than content to go for the projectile game instead. Goes for the medium teleport just to get that space. Punishes the sweep, but no real conversion off of it.
This is such a difficult scenario. Now you have air sigils that you have to worry about. Buscar needing to just figure out a way past all of them, and the lances are what's keeping Buscar from accessing the tools that they need to be able to clear the traps out.
Oh, I love that delay. The shimmy into the delay, close heavy. Gonna be a nice big chunk of damage coming out from the FBA.
Life advantage huge in the ZomBmu's favor. Now Buscar only one mistake away, and that was it.
Yeah.
Round 1 of game 2 down into ZomBmu's favor.
Committed a little bit too hard to that approach to try to get past the traps on the ground.
And here we go. ZomBmu. 3 rounds to go before becoming Combo Breaker 2020 Granblue Fantasy versus champion.
Oh, not able to punish off that spear. Unfortunate. Buscar Luz had the right idea.
Look at the pestering. Just testing your patience and capitalizing on any mistake. Teleport full combo here from ZomBmu, showing them all the resources available, and now 1 confirm into a super away from being a game away from the tournament.
Barely misses that trap on the ground right there. Critical for Buscar Luz. Finally gets to center stage. Right, the stagger's coming out. Again, this is such a comfortable lead for ZomBmu right now. Buscar Luz has to work real hard.
Out of real estate is ZomBmu. Teleport is completely caught up with, and now Buscar trying to figure out a way to take advantage. When do you use Yggdrasil? When do you pick up the phone to call in your parent?
Seems that now is the time, and honestly, ZomBmu working with enough life to be able to just kind of block a lot of this.
And ZomBmu can just kind of hold firm. As long as it isn't the floor is lava, they're good to go. Jumping around the explosions, and yeah, not really much, but a delay in the timer for Buscar.
Oh, big awesome source right there to get his way in, and now here comes the throw loops. Oh, big opening as well! It wasn't Yggdrasil that got him the round. It was instead that 214H.
The boys are feeling it. They're all warmed up. They like that one. And Buscar pulling the trigger at the right time to be able to get ZomBmu into the corner and finish the round. Here we go.
2M right there. Once again, the throw. Just this corner presence from Lane is so scary.
Oh, what a conversion there off of the low friendo. Overhead connects as well. Now Buscar filling it a little bit. HPA conversion.
Yeah, very little you could do there. Chip point was imminent, and Buscar Luz getting a game on the board.
It's such an important example of, even when it looks like there's nothing you can do, finding that needle to be able to thread opens up such a big arsenal of options. But Buscar had to figure out where was the opening that ZomBmu was showing, and it looks like he might take advantage of it again.
All right, finally able to teleport out the corner is ZomBmu, rewarded very, very nicely for it as well. Big fight, but no confirm off of it.
So far, Buscar stuck in this corner. He needs to figure out a way to be able to escape. There's the homie clearing the trap. Has some room to work. Got an important knockdown on the sweep.
Oh, unfortunate for Zombie right there, but then unfortunate for Buscar Luz, not able to fully convert. Not sure if this will get the KO off of the light auto combo. Yeah, just a little bit of a sliver of life left.
Last chance for the dance with Buscar, and the lance after the teleport backwards. Caught him reaching. ZomBmu be teaching. That is going to send us into another opportunity for ZomBmu to put a #2 on their side of the board.
Oh, runs in past the M calculated. Once again, the corner pressure starts. Good match from ZomBmu, now gets the corner control himself. We haven't seen too much throw coming out from ZomBmu as an offensive option. Just going for a lot of that raw corner pressure instead.
And certainly might be one that they try to weave in here. Buscar answering back really well in this round, showing the patience of being able to block, but ends up pushing themselves into a trap, the teleport into a throw.
Yep, there's that throw, and again, another one opening up with Buscar Luz now.
Look at the staggers here. ZomBmu tried to go for the other side. The trade ending up actually in Buscar's favor. ZomBmu going for a super here.
Yeah, that's going to be easily spot dodged, and Buscar Luz getting around on the board again.
Buscar's ability to just stay focused and keep their eyes on the prize really paying off big time for them. Even the small mistakes they make doesn't seem to be frustrating them into even larger ones, which is what ZomBmu loves to capitalize on.
All those air schools coming out from ZomBmu.
Buscar hammering her at the guard, gets a knockdown with the sweep. Run up throw, late tech.
Good 2M right there. The answer from ZomBmu, just so much back and forth between these two players. Funnily enough, we haven't seen too much action in that right corner. It's usually been Buscar Luz forcing Zombie into the left corner, and then just the back and forth happens from there.
Yeah, it seemed to be the strategy that Buscar was going for early. ZomBmu push back to the corner. You got to be careful of those traps, forcing Buscar to go to certain options. Caught this time.
Wow,
ZomBmu
just
with
the
the
raw
top trap.
Big count hit on that heavy. Now it's going to be a solid damage in the corner.
Super Skybound available for Buscar. Yggdrasil could be a factor here.
Great check right there. What a call out on the overhead, and that's going to be the one hit confirmed. It's the FBA, not going to be enough just yet. Not at that range.
Yeah, immediately wake up Yggdrasil at the very worst, you know, just a timer pause. ZomBmu happy to down back, wait for those options to come out. Plenty of life left, so not going to be chipped. Standing dodge on the floor is Lava Lance. Not close enough. Catalina bottom missiles.
Oh, very, very important to get the corn right there. Avoid chip point, but still the sweep was not blocked, and that is going to be 2-1 to ZomBmu. 1 game away from taking Combo Breaker. 2
successful rounds, and ZomBmu will consider it job done. But we've seen Buscar hang around, take some rounds as well, so this could go to a game 5. Side switch. Nice answer from Buscar.
Yeah, using that far light to just check Zombie right there.
The block so far, Buscar, knowing that even on offense, you got to be careful. Overhead connects, and that is a counter hit.
Wow, I was not expecting La Malady in a situation like this of all situations.
Can happen to the best of us for sure. Light staggers, get to confirm into Awesome Sauce.
Pressure coming out once again from Buscar Luz. Doesn't want to use the FBA just yet. Will jump, no teleport from Zombie just yet. And the call out once again, EX Awesome Sauce. That and the medium Awesome Sauce have been doing so much work to just kind of break into that zone that Zombie's getting real comfortable at.
Listen, Buscar's saying sometimes you have to be the projectile you want, and that Awesome Sauce is working like a gun, just blasting him across the screen and catching ZomBmu unawares.
Yep, goes for the throw once again.
Nice counter poke there from Buscar, running forward into the mid screen, but has to be careful, lifted up into the air trap. ZomBmu pounces immediately.
The stagger right there, that's going to be the round for Zombie. Confirm into the SDA. It's enough.
1 round away, tournament point for ZomBmu. 3. Spear comes out into the uniques as well. Buscar with the knockdown. The missile's going to allow him to close the range. Has to deal with the trap.
Side switch with the teleport, of course. Bottom block as well. And here comes the calculated pressure that we know so well from ZomBmu. Good jump to get away from Buscar Luz.
Important jump as well, but gets clipped up with the lance. Teleport backing up into the trap. Buscar slowly but surely ushered into the corner and immediately blown up with the assist.
That was an incredible far medium right there. That's going to be a big damage combo in the corner. Almost dead.
Guess for tournament, and ZomBmu will be the Combo Breaker 2022 Granblue Fantasy Versus champion.
Through all the trials and tribulations to get here, once again, almost 200 entrants here at Combo Breaker 2022. All it took right at the end was a 2L, a crouching light, in order to seal the tournament for ZomBmu. But what a set that was between our two finalists here at Combo Breaker.
Listen, Viram, it has been a long road, but ZomBmu, was looking for this one. This is one of the ones that meant a lot to them, and they stated so going into the tournament. So being able to come here, convert on the winner side of all things, shows that going into CEO, going into EVO, for the United States of America, ZomBmu is the player with the #1 spot on their back.
Absolutely, and there's just been so much passion from not only ZomBmu, but so many of the other players here. Shout outs in general to the Granblue Fantasy Versus community. They are such a dedicated, passionate group of individuals all around the world. You got of course, the American scene. Shout outs to the NAPC Discord. I'm probably sure there's a command for that in the chat somewhere. Shout outs to Hearts Are Blazing in Europe. Of course, I know there's scenes in Mexico, Brazil. The Japanese scene, of course, is big for the game. There's just so much love and passion for this game. It's been a rough road. It's been a rough road over the past 2 years, but this game is honestly, it's amazing, man.
It's an amazing game, and even 2 years in, it continues to grow, it continues to evolve, and the people and the community continue to build upon themselves, and that is one of the most endearing things about it. That is one of the things that really touches your heart. And I believe you put out a tweet that said, I stayed up super late playing casuals because this game is a drug, and it really is, in the best of ways. You play matches, and if you can really find a character you like and just enjoy the game, there are times and times again where the game will have you thinking about, what can I do more? How can I change the situation? And it invites you in. This game invites you in to discover it. And so if you're interested in this game, if you saw this top 8 or any part of the tournament and said, hey, I really like this game, I want to play it, I guarantee you there's a space for you to do that. So do not be deterred by anything else other than, hey, how do I get in? And then the moment that you're in, enjoy it. Find the community. It's very welcoming, and you can have a fantastic time with Granblue Fantasy Versus.
And heck, the game is on sale right now. The base game, only $13 on PS4 and Steam. The full game, the Legendary Edition, that includes all of the DLC characters, $40. So there's never really been a better time to get into the game.
It really hasn't, and you know what? We see the players on stage, well earned for all of them. This was not an easy top 8 to get into. Everyone who was, seeking to show their best at Granblue Fantasy Versus came here to Combo Breaker to perform, and if you're on that stage, you performed extraordinarily well no matter what position and number you ended up at.
Absolutely, absolutely. And of course, going through our top 8 combatants, in 7th place we have DaFeetLee, as well as, why can I not remember off the top of my head?
Is it Guard Crush? No.
No, they got 5th.
DaFeetLee.
My brain is not working.
Yeah, my brain is frozen on that one, but Jukem, yes. Jukem was the 7th place. Guard Crush being in 5th place. Neokarsh ending up in 4th place. Flowerman, of course, in 3rd.
We also had Shuaboo in 5th.
Shuaboo in 5th. And then Buscar Luz, of course, in 2nd. And finally, of course, last but not least, ZomBmu, Combo Breaker 2022 Granblue Fantasy Versus champion.
Yeah. Excellent showing from all the players here. And this game just brings me so much joy. I really sincerely love this game.
It's such a joy to play, and the people that have formed around it are also a joy, and that's what makes it even better. So, again, play this game, experiment with it. It welcomes you in. The community welcomes you in as well. So just enjoy Granblue. I know everyone out there in the crowd does. I do as well. This community holds a special place in my heart. It's where I really, begin to start in a serious fashion with commentary. And so if you're out there and you are wondering about this game, just jump straight in. Viram, it's been an honor and a pleasure, brother, to be able to commentate with you. And hopefully we get to do it again very soon.
Yes. All right, of course, this is us here at Granblue Fantasy Versus Combo Breaker 2022. Signing off. It has been an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you. Take care, everybody.
Be blessed.